Good evening, everyone. Uh, Today is September 21st, 2023, and time is 7:04. And this is a regular Mountain House Public Safety Committee meeting. Uh, So first item in agenda is a call to roll call. I would like to request Sarah to lead on the roll call.
Be happy to, Director Dillon.
Here,
Director Dillon,
here,
Amrit Shima,
here.
Najat Sidhu,
Here.
Tony Burdick,
Actually, he has moved out of the Mountain House for
oh yes, okay. Sebastian Gonzalez, Raghu Malapaka,
Here.
Tajdeep Ratan,
Here.
Rajinder Sandhu, and Rajesh Deeg.
Here.
Roger, could you tell me the staff people that are present? I know Chris is and you.
That's it. That is it. Well, there is Sergeant Ward and a sergeant from CHP and members of the fire department.
And is it Lieutenant Peeney or somebody else from Highway Patrol?
No, it is a sergeant. Lieutenant Peeney cannot make it today or tonight.
Okay. I usually try to list who's there, so I'll get the name from you later. Okay, and nobody from rank security.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next item on agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. So let's all rise. And would like to request Chris, because he's.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. So item 3 is public comments. No action or discussion shall be taken on any item raised during public comment, except committee members may briefly respond to the statements or questions. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes. Please turn off all your cell phones and pagers. And please mute your microphone if you are participating through Zoom. Raise your hand through a Zoom icon if you would like to speak. You may enter any questions into the chat box. Thank you. Item number 4 in agenda is approval of the minutes for the last meeting, which was held 8/24/23. Anyone got any questions about the last meeting? No questions, so we'll approve those minutes for the last meeting held last month, 8/24/23. Number 5 is for me. I have not much to report. Only I can congratulations to Mountain House for becoming approved by the LAFCO to be a new city in America. So that's all I have. Number 6 is crime prevention. Crime prevention report on Neighborhood Watch, Business Watch, public safety planning calendar. This for our community crime prevention officer, Alvarez. Roger.
Thank you, Director Dillon. So on the neighborhood watch, I've been in communication with several groups, trying to set up a date that works for myself and the group for a neighborhood watch meeting. I did attend one last night in College Park. There were about 15 to 18 participants. And sounds like they are eager to keep going and continue with the meetings and hopefully grow. They have other streets in the area, other neighbors that would like to join. So we're discussing the next meeting, and hopefully it'll be a larger group. Business Watch, I am still planning on getting with the sheriff's office to conduct some walkthroughs in the commercial businesses and contact the businesses and owners and provide them with the Business Watch stickers and the manuals. I've been a little bit busy with the training and away from work, but once it slows down, which it seems to be, I will set up a date and contact the businesses to provide them with the resources. Planning calendar, I would like to host a crime prevention or neighborhood watch community meeting here in Town Hall. Hopefully the beginning of next year. Haven't decided on if it would be during the week, in the evening, or on the weekend. So that's something I will discuss with other agencies to see what their availability is. And I'll put the information out once I come out with the date. And that's all I have for now.
Any questions for Roger Alvarez about this subject? Committee members, do you have any questions for him?
Roger, just a quick one, if you can just kind of reiterate the Business Watch, what it entailed, more than what we've been discussing, just kind of recap quick. And what we're looking for in there with the stickers and all that stuff, just a little bit of it, just a brief.
So a Business Watch is similar to a neighborhood watch, but we are just directing it with businesses. So we will contact each of the businesses and provide them with the resources, information to be the extension of public safety, the eyes and ears, so they know what to look for, how to report it, who to report it to for any crime or suspicious activities, and provide them with the resources of crime prevention. So, you know, how to maintain their business to deter or prevent crime to their business and the area of their business, which would be either their structure or their plaza that they are located within.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I got a question for you about Business Watch again. So how many incidents were recently reported in Safeway Plaza about any of the, like the panhandles or homeless, or because I know that there's a lot of the stealing stuff from the Safeway.
I have not been informed of any incidences regarding anything recent regarding loiterers, trespassers, panhandlers, or any theft from the businesses. That maybe Sergeant Ward could answer when he gets the crime trends.
Yeah, couple weeks ago, I think they reported one guy was entering inside the sourdough and dentist office and threatening them.
I do recall that, and I believe the subject was arrested, but again, Sergeant Ward might have additional information.
All right, thank you. I forget to introduce our new committee member, Mr. Johnson, and I will give him mic to introduce. He can introduce himself.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Dillon. My name is Junsen Lee. I am a resident here at the soon to be City of Mountain House. Been here since 2018. And I met Mr. Dillon when he was campaigning, where he walked up to my driveway and we talked about the safety of this town. And I reached out to him again about a month ago. And about a month ago, I recently switched my schedule, so I'm able to attend these meetings in person. So I finally wanted to join. So I applied because I want to be part of the community. I'm very impressed that our residents here take pride in our community, whether it's law enforcement or fire. And so I just wanted to add to this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnson, and welcome. So next one item in agenda 7 is crime trends for San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office. We have Sergeant Ward here today. So Sergeant, if you want, you can come here and speak.
Right now, the one major crime trend that I know that we got hit over about the last month or so, that off the top of my head, is we had several cars over a one night period. They got all their wheels stolen, leaving them on cinder blocks. There's a lot of information that we're trying to pull together right now. That was not an isolated incident to Mountain House. They hit everywhere from Weston Ranch throughout the entire county. I know that that's been reported over multiple agencies over the last year or so within our county. So it's not an isolated incident. It's just finally hitting Mountain House is the problem. So we are working with those agencies to try to get some intel on what they have and try to share some resources and figure out the best way for us to combat this at this point. Any questions?
That was the first in Mountain House.
To my knowledge, that was the first time that we've had something like that happen, yeah. Because normally they come into town, they'll hit numerous vehicles all in a one night period and leave them on blocks.
Catalytic converters were heard, but this is the wheel coming off and on the cinder block. is the
Yeah,
first.
and our assumption is it's probably gonna be more than, it's gonna be a group of people to be able to do that in such a quick fashion.
If I may ask the follow-up question on the camera, did that come into play or were we able to identify anything using pretty full coverage of it? Sorry, the loaded question. but-
Unfortunately, we can't really discuss the case a whole lot because it's still under investigation.
Any other questions? Thank you, Sergeant Ward. Thank you very much. Next agenda item is number 8, which is traffic safety concerns, CHP crossing guards, control devices near the school. We have an officer from CHP. Please.
I don't have a whole lot to add, although I know my lieutenant's been in contact with school district regarding the pickup and drop off problems that we're having. So I believe they're kind of coming to a solution with that with crossing guards and whatnot. And then the other thing is we're looking at deploying people on kind of a more regular basis during those pickup times and drop offs in the afternoon, that kind of stuff. And a lot of that's just going to depend on our staffing and call volumes at the time. That's pretty much all I have regarding that.
Just for the minutes, can you give us your name too? Because
Sergeant Rick Schmier, SCHMIER.
thank you.
I got a question, Surgeon. So are we still facing some issues in College Park, Costa School, people trespassing that private property to shortcut to the school to drop and pick up the kids?
I haven't heard of any issues with that. I can talk to my lieutenant when I see her. I'll see her on Monday. I can ask her about that, but she didn't give me any information on that issue.
Any questions for Sergeant Rick? Thank you, Sergeant Rick.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Agenda item 9 is fire prevention and fire hazard. That's Mountain House Fire Department. Oh, you don't have enough mics.
Good evening. My name's Captain Robert Sickman with Mountain House Fire. Kind of wanted to talk to you today about our upcoming Fire Prevention Week. So Fire Prevention Week is it's a national week that's been going around for over 100 years now, that fire departments across America and Canada have been participating in. What it is just a way to connect with the community and let people be aware of different fire safety tips. This one, the theme for 2023 is Cooking Safety Starts With You. Pay attention to fire prevention. And we've been doing this since 2019. We've been connecting with the schools to kind of spread our message. So this year, the Fire Prevention Week runs from October 8th to the 14th. So from the 9th to the 13th, all week, we have assemblies through all of the elementary schools here in Mountain House, where we go and talk to all the kids about fire safety. We're giving out items one a day throughout the week of Fire Prevention Week, so the kids can kind of keep that on their mind. And then we have our annual art contest, which I'm not sure if you guys have been aware of, but we've been doing it for the last few years, where the kids send in fire prevention themed artwork, and then we grade them and we give various prizes. So there's helmets and scooters for all the kids who win for the best in their class for each school, and then the overall winner gets a PlayStation 5. So they're pretty happy about that. Yeah, they're excited. And then there's also a fire hydrant that's outside of our station in front of our flagpole that gets colored the color of the school winner. So whatever school who's has the winner, it gets colored that and then gets their name on it, and that stays there for a year. And then we turn it around for the next year. So that's going to be judged at the winner is going to be revealed at our pancake breakfast, which is the time that I guess I could plug that. So on the 14th from 7 to noon, we have our firehouse pancake breakfast. And we kind of, for the last few years now, have been tying it in with Prevention Week to kind of keep it all together and make it a little bit of an event. The finalists all have their artwork on display as well, and then we kind of reveal the hydrant for the winner who gets the PlayStation. As far as everything else goes, fire prevention wise, since the last time I talked to you, we haven't had any major fires. We did have a vehicle fire that was a little unique. Mountain House has a lot of electric vehicles, so it's kind of a little bit challenging for us, not necessarily on how to initially attack the fire, but these electric vehicles stay burning for a long time, hours and hours. So it's kind of taxing on our end for just time. The last one we had, I think we were out there for upwards of 8 hours or so. We do have our new BEST system, which is specifically designed to put out electric vehicle fires by piercing the bottom of the battery and flooding it. But even that, it still takes quite some time to do so. I mean, there have been reports of electric vehicles that have burned for days just because the battery takes so long to cool down. So that's one thing that it's nice that we were able to actually use our BEST system for once. But it's a little unfortunate in the fact that we have to take so much time on scene. But luckily we have we're upstaffed over here, so we're able to have our second unit cut away if there's another call that comes in. But other than that, I think all of our weed abatement for the most part got handled. I know that's always a big concern. I know there's fire breaks around most things, and most lots have been abated. I'm not entirely sure about the ones that are Tracy's jurisdiction. I know that there was a couple of complaints over there, but I believe that they've handled it. I'd have to check with our fire prevention officer. But other than that, there's nothing more for me, unless you guys have any questions.
Any
Good.
questions for fire department?
I wanted to note that they demonstrated the best system at the National Night Out. So,
They did, yeah. So
and
they-
that was
cool.
pretty impressive.
Yeah, it seemed like people were.
And actually, they had one call also. Can you explain about that?
For the one with
You
the,
tested
for the BEST system?
that, yeah.
Yeah. So that's, I could go into a little more detail. So it was a car that caught fire in a garage. So, initially it came in like it was going to be a structure fire, but it was just the vehicle, and it wasn't too much flame. But yeah, that was the one that took quite some time on scene to actually put out, just because it's so challenging to cool the battery down because they burn so hot. But yeah, it was in the garage, and then eventually got pulled out of the garage. But no one was hurt. For the most part, the garage was unharmed. It was just the car itself. So, as we get more electric vehicles, we'll have to try to figure something out. If we, it's pretty easy to put out a car fire on a normal standard car. They 20 minutes and it's gone. But these new electric vehicles take a while. So hopefully we don't see too many. But it's nice to have the BEST system. At least it cuts down some of the time. So. Yeah. Good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I was talking to Fire Chief Marty. I think that was the third deployment in the world, because this is a new system. one in Europe, and one in Los Angeles, right? And this is a third one. So because this is newest technology in the world. Yeah. This was third. Yeah.
Roger, if people need to speak into the mic, if it's gonna be, available to people participating on Zoom.
You want me to
Sorry.
recap? I'll just recap that really quickly. The commentary was that there's 3 in the US, 2 of them are in California, and one is over somewhere on the East Coast. And they're being called on in the county for mutual aid for other vehicle fires that may be occurring. They had a call out a week or so ago to French Camp, Stockton Fire on the border of French Camp, and it turned out that it was actually a truck fire, and it was different, and the system worked differently on the truck fire than it does on a regular fire. They ended up having to use sand to put out the truck fire. So the Mountain House has a resource that's going to get called on pretty regularly, I would imagine, for mutual aid.
Thank you, Chris. So next item in agenda is number 10, previous discussion updates. So 10A is district emergency plan, and I think Sarah and Chris, take care of that.
Well, either me or Sarah. Sarah, you can jump in or wave at me or something like that, and I'll hush and let you talk. What we're looking at right now is everything is pretty much in place. Our next big challenge is going to be transitioning from being the special services district to being a city or a town. And so the city is going to have different standards of training and so on. That's going to be the transition we're looking at over the coming months, actually. So it's not going to appear to be a whole lot of movement, but we'll be laying the groundwork for that transition. Sarah, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so that's where we are. We don't look like we're doing anything, but we're going to be laying out that transition and making sure that it's nice and smooth and we keep everybody trained as they should be.
Chris, can you explain, maybe shed some more light that in that plan we did, what was covered in that emergency plan? And we had other areas which are still under county
Right.
emergency plan, right?
Sure.
Okay.
What we're looking at as a special services district and what we deal with at this point is we're pretty much when an emergency is declared in the area, we become people who just do what the county tells us to do. So the county Office of Emergency Services, their responses will be directed towards us, and it'll be more communication so that we can spread the word appropriately to our citizens and so on. So that's for the response to things like floods, earthquakes, and so on like that. When we become a city, we will shoulder more of the responsibilities to that. And the deployment of assets will be more city and then county. Right now, the deployment of assets is going to be pretty much county, and then the city responds accordingly to that. And then our training, again, the same thing will be that right now, our training is mostly centered around dealing with emergencies that happen in the city facilities, particularly or the district's facilities, particularly town hall here. And when this becomes city hall, we'll have more training that'll have to be done for staff and so on like that. So the big difference is going to be that right now we are more responsive to what the county's plans are, and we also are training more about our training centers upon the individual responses of employees here to what's going on in this building that we're sitting in right now,
versus as time goes by and we move from the district into being a city, there will be more deployment of city assets and there will be more planning and training that will be necessary as our own city. Sir.
So Chris, with this transition to the city, would the plans be just as a 30,000 foot estimate of, is that a significant change? I know the process and the workflow will change. Like you said, it'll initiate from here and will be more responsibility as a city. But would that require significant changes to the processes, or it's a smooth transition?
It'll be, it depends on the definition of significant, because it'll be growth. And we've gone through so much growth in the past 5 years anyway, that we're probably just going to keep continuing the same arc that we're on right now. We'll be shouldering some more responsibilities in terms of immediate response. But when things get bigger, then it gets, it goes from city to county to state, to region to state and so on like that, or state to region. And so what we'll do is we'll just keep following the arc that we've been on, and making sure that we're fulfilling our responsibilities as a municipality. And I don't have people smarter than me know more than I do about what those responsibility changes will be. And I'll learn those along with the rest of the team as we start putting together the transition plan. Right now, we don't have a transition plan. We just know that it's going to be coming, and it's not going to be real severe. It's going to be much more of a oh yeah, we saw this coming. That we expect that we're going to shoulder more responsibility, but we're also going to have more assets and resources as well.
Well, thank you. We hate to see a regurgitation of whole effort that you guys went through, a significant effort to come to this point.
It was.
Can't start over again, kind of thing. So it's good to.
It was a long trail, but it is cyclical too. Every year you have to review your plans and you have to update them and so on. So what's going to happen is that the cycle's going to get a little bit more intense. But yeah, we've been through a couple years of some struggle to get things done, and a lot of it. And we started right as COVID kicked off, so there was an awful lot of hassle with that too.
So I'm assuming we'll keep significant portions of it, as well as the app that we have developed.
Oh yeah,
That will be
that'll
in
all.
play as well too. So
Yeah, that's not gonna. That's not
be reused, I guess.
right. That's not going to change. It's just going to get more. It'll be a little bit more elaborate, and we'll have more resources to apply to it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions for me? Okay.
No questions. Thank you, Chris. 10B is a camera system update for Roger Elrich.
Yes, so we are working on a new agreement with Flock Security for additional cameras. So our agreement expired. So we're working on a new agreement. So hopefully it'll be set, I'm hoping within the next 2 weeks. So we have a meeting tomorrow morning with staff to discuss the agreement, and then reaching out to Flock on actually putting it to paper, so to speak. So hopefully within the next few weeks, we'll have a new agreement. And with the new agreement, we plan on purchasing additional ALPRs, automatic license plate readers. As far as the Avigilon, we have, I'm not sure if I mentioned it last meeting, but we have a new workstation that's on the public safety side. So we went with a dedicated workstation for the camera system. So it makes it easier for the sheriff's office and rank security to access the surveillance cameras for investigations. And that's all I have on that topic. I can just jump into C as far as blight concerns.
I got a question for
Oh,
camera.
sorry, yes.
Can you update the residents that how many cameras we have right now, how many LPRs we have, and how many we are getting more?
I don't want to go into too many details of what we have. Just keeping some of that private, but the entrances and exits to the community are covered with license plate readers. And a lot of the critical areas within the community are also covered with these surveillance cameras. And we're looking to add on additional surveillance cameras to some of the major intersections. But I don't want to go into detail of
Okay.
how many we have or their positions.
Thank you. So you go for the next one is 10C, blight concerns, graffiti, illegal dumping, panhandling, camping, loitering, and trespassing.
Thank you. So graffiti, I heard there was actually some new graffiti underneath the Puente Bridge. And I believe it was already abated by our staff. By the time I was notified, it was already taken care of and wasn't able to take photographs. And I'm pretty sure it was not reported to the sheriff's office as well. There we go. Sergeant Ward is nodding no, which our staff should be reporting those incidents. So the sheriff's office is aware. Illegal dumping, I know there has been some illegal dumping on Kelso and Great Valley. So that was noticed yesterday by Rank Security and they advised me of it. So there should be a work order coming in soon to have it cleared up.
So one question, this illegal dumping, does it include household items or commercial items? What kind of dumping, anything?
Anything, yes. So commercial, household items, just any dumping of trash or materials on public right of way, even private property.
I think one of the concerns in the community is, we really don't have a dumping place, when there is excess trash. Sometimes you buy a new, sofa or something, you get trash that cannot be put in the dumpsters, right? In the recycling bins we have. Also, sometimes if you have, some function at your home or party, right? You get so much trash that you can really. In those cases, I know some cities have common dumping grounds, right, where you have huge containers. People responsibly go and dump there. I think some illegal dumping happens in Mountain House because we don't have that avenue. You have to either wait for 2 weeks or, people just dump. I know that people use those containers around the construction areas. They go leave stuff there. This is a common concern. Do you think this is something we can address moving
I
forward?
do not know of any city that has any community dumping locations. The only dumping locations should be the dumps or landfills, or hauling services, but I don't know of any city that has a centralized dumping location for residents.
Yeah, so I had the experience in Michigan where, you had a common area for where you can go dump extra stuff until you wait. So that's what I was referring to, but I think something that we could probably ponder upon so that we don't have the issue of illegal dumping in future.
If I may, there are opportunities possibly to get together with the sheriff's community resource people. They'll basically, they did this in Marana a couple months ago. They had a couple containers out there and people were invited to bring their stuff. They had to show that they lived in Marana. And they had inmate workers out there pulling stuff out of trucks and throwing them in big dumpsters and whatnot. So that may be something that we would want to look at in the future. I don't know what committee that might go under, whether it would be public safe.
But in fact, a good example is we have a common dumping area right in front of the tennis courts, right? So then there is one in the Wickland Market Plaza.
So you're talking about bins, large bins that.
Large bins, yeah.
Right.
So, those are accessible to the businesses, but I do see that they're being used by, people, they just throw from the top.
Yeah, that might be, that might be using
And
somebody else's resources.
It's a mess everywhere. So-
That's probably against the law just a little
Yeah,
bit less
so
than
it
dumping
is-
it on the right of way.
Those are not common dumping areas like the
Exactly.
waste receptacles here by the tennis courts. They are not common dumping areas.
But you
I-
can, West Valley Resources, I mean, if people have stuff that they need picked up, they can make arrangements for that to be picked up at their home. But it might be a community thing at some point. I just don't know if I wish Steve was here because he would probably jump right on this and have an answer right away. Because he's got an encyclopedia for
Yeah.
a mind for that type of stuff. But it might be worth looking at.
Actually, once a year, waste management company with service of a district, they spring at this spring cleanup, they come to your houses and you can.
That, of course, is there. That's definitely
And also, I
beneficial.
think local organizations like non-profit organizations should offer community cleanup maybe quarterly. I've seen people doing in Tracy and doing in Stockton where there's more,
Yeah,
garbage.
yeah.
But I think someone need to come forward and contact, solid waste management company and do community cleanups.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to charge to other people. If you take it there, you.
So
can
I
take it
think
there.
that's the challenge, right? If the moment you charge, people just go and dump on the available area. So that's just to prevent that. in
Yeah.
future. Yeah.
Just
Thank
a quick
Thank you.
comment, Raghu, on that also. We don't know whether it's just the residents of the community dumping there, or is it, it's a construction site. A lot of people who work in Mount House, they're dumping illegally, once they finish working with somebody. So
I
we don't
mean,
know
this
which
is-
way it is, but if it's a need, it's an excellent point. If it's a need for the community to be able to have a way to, dispose of the waste somehow, alternative to, a pickup, regular pickups, that's something that, like.
This
Chris
is a
just-
common complaint I heard, in the community where
Right.
people
It's a
say,
good thing, but
because we have, for example, even in my home, if I have a get together of 20 people on a weekend, it's like I have
It's a large
trash
bag.
bags full of
That makes
waste.
sense.
So then I ask my neighbor, hey, can I use your trash? Or maybe two neighbors. So just,
Right.
just something, that makes life easier.
Good point.
So on this topic for the next meeting, I will look out or try to look for some resources through West Valley so that way I can report in what services they offer for residents for additional pickups or bulky item pickups.
Mine, right? For example, we have farmers market. Maybe you could have a dumpster on the side where, because everybody goes there and you can just say, it's a trash pickup day on Sunday, 9 to 10. You can use it. Just an idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Raghu. So 10D is future meetings. Roger?
So next month for October is scheduled for the 19th. That will be a Zoom meeting. We have some conflicts with November and December's meetings because falls under Thanksgiving period and Christmas. I am all for attending meetings, but I don't know if we're going to get great participation during those two holidays. So I don't know if we would like to reschedule them or cancel them.
I think we should reschedule it.
We might think about, since people are so busy during the holidays, perhaps taking the November meeting, moving it to the first or second week of December and just having one combined meeting early in December. That's probably going to be the bridge between the two holidays, just in terms of how busy people get during the holidays.
Okay. Alrighty, so next item in agenda is number 11, new topics. 11A is dog concerns.
Director Dillon, we should probably set those dates before we move on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
So look at the calendar.
I'm pulling up the calendar. I'm not sure if you can see it very well. There is I'm sorry, December. There we go. So we can do it on the 7th or 14th. I will have to confirm, make sure there's no conflicts with the reservation of the boardroom. So whatever day works best for the group.
The earlier the better, since we're skipping on one, probably 7th, if it's available.
The 7th,
That's my suggestion.
the 7th as a primary, maybe the 14th as the secondary choice if there's a conflict with
Yeah,
the
looks good.
reservation. So what I'll do, I will reach out to Laura or Parks and Recs for the reservation, and if there's no conflicts on the 7th, I will schedule the combined November, December for December 7th at 7 PM. And on the next meeting on Zoom, next month, I will update the committee.
So Roger, I think in December, we're also gonna have some community meetings. And so, you probably need to snag your date ASAP.
I didn't want to snag the date, and there's already a reservation in the boardroom, so that's why I wanted to check with Laura or Parks and Rec tomorrow, just to make sure it's available. Unless you have access to it, Sarah, do you know?
I don't, I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay,
And, and it's a good thing you want to talk to Laura because the new Parks and Rec Commission, they're gonna be setting their time and, their routine date for their meetings also.
okay. Sounds good. So I will confirm and then get back with the group at the next meeting for
Okay.
the November, December combined meeting, on December 7th or the 14th.
Sounds good. Let's move to item number 11A, dog concerns and animal regulations. So Roger, do you have CCRs in front of you? Maybe look into that and discuss according to those CCNRs?
I was actually going to pull up, let me stop sharing. Pull up what is on our website. So recently we've had issues with dogs. So not so much the dogs, but the residents not doing what they're supposed to do with their dogs and the dog regulations in the district. So this was posted. It's on our front page of our website. And it's a flyer that has let me blow this up a little bit, I'm sorry. So it is the dog regulations and best practices. So this was created to
Roger,
educate the residents. Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
you're not sharing. You're not
Yeah.
sharing.
Thank you for reminding me.
There you go.
Okay, can you see it, Sarah?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. So this was created to educate our residents on the dog regulations because of the incidents that we've had recently. So it goes over some of the best practices, potential violations if somebody is cited for violating the regulations. And the regulations are the Mountain House master restrictions, as well as the Mountain House ordinances and the San Joaquin County ordinances regarding dogs and animals. So all of those, the violators can receive potential fines with a citation, but we are trying to put out the education and hopefully get voluntary compliance through education. Any questions?
I think go ahead.
Just a quick follow-up. With this particular incident was dog not on the leash and got out and bit someone, correct?
For one of the incidents, correct.
It was dog not on the leash is the issue, is the violation that happened at that point.
Correct. And there's also a lot of complaints regarding people with dogs off leash in the parks, on the streets, which was noticed this evening around town hall. by one violator. But it does happen, and it can be that people are just not aware of the regulations. That's what we're hoping for, and not people just blatantly disregarding the regulations.
So maybe sounds like there's a gap in communication at this point. Maybe a reminder out there. I think we should have a point like we do other communications. This sounds like one of them that needs a strong reminder one way or the other again, even though it's posted and everything, but I think publicizing that fact, as a fresh in mind so people can take care of it. I think it's maybe a communication out there somehow.
We're trying. We made these flyers small enough so we can hand them out. So if anybody, staff, sheriff's office, rank comes across a resident that is violating the regulations, they can educate them by providing them with a flyer. And we have posted those. They're on the counter at Town Hall, in the library. They were placed at Starbucks. So we hand them out at community events like Music in the Park. I hand them out at neighborhood watch meetings like I did last night.
It'll be
during
in Mountain
neighborhood
House
watch
Matters.
meeting.
It'll be
I'm
in
sorry,
Mountain,
Sarah? Yeah.
in Mountain House Matters.
Yes. So it's on our newsletters and Mountain House Matters, and it's on our website, and it's on social media. So we've shared it on Facebook, and we're trying to put out the information, and I mean, I'm not sure what else we can do. I mean, hopefully the residents also educate other residents. So we're hoping that, you know, the residents that have taken the time to read the flyer and educate others goes a long way and helps us.
Yes, more into education. I think we are sending out on social media, Sarah mentioned about Mountains Matters. So we are trying our best to, send more information for the residents.
And it fits into neighborhood watch probably as well too. That's something we can have a call in by eyes and ears on the street as well too. So that's a good.
Absolutely. And aside from education, there has been enforcement by animal services to include citations and seizures.
Thank you, Roger. And next one is 11B, Public Safety Committee applicants.
I think you covered that.
Yeah. No, for applications.
Well, you,
11B, new members.
right. You already introduced.
Okay, thank you.
Are you thinking of recruiting still, though?
So we were like asking if you want to take more applications.
Yes. Sorry. Yes, so you also want to do recruiting, correct? I'm sorry. So I will get with Sarah, and at your wish, we'll post it on social media on our website that you're looking for additional applicants.
So 11C is commercial / commuter parking on Grand Service Center.
With that, I have received complaints about commercial vehicles in the district. So I actually went out with a rank yesterday and issued citations for commercial vehicles. And also on the weekends, it sounds like there are quite a number of commercial vehicles parking in the Safeway Plaza and also on Grand. So it looks like they're storing their commercial vehicles on the roadway and on private property. I've noticed that I believe it's Shea Properties that owns that the market at Mountain House. They do not have proper signage. So they do not have the proper signage to take any enforcement on illegal parking on their private property. So that's something we're going to have to address, and we'll possibly do it when we do our walk-arounds for the Business Watch. So when we do our outreach.
So what are the other potential areas where people park the commercial vehicles? One is Grand Service Center, then I see some trucks on in Cody's also, right?
There's Central Parkway, there's a few on Phelps, and there's sporadically some inside the villages. But those are the common areas of Central Parkway, Grand, Safeway, Phelps.
So any questions for this item number 11 altogether? Members, you got any questions? No questions? Let's move to item number 12, which is open committee comments. You have any?
Just the fact that to welcome our new member on board. Thank you.
Raghu, you got any question?
Thank you.
Any members on Zoom or any residents?
This is Tejdeep Ratan. I have to ask something about the Montessori school and what's this Mustang Road. As you get out of the Montessori school, you have to take a right. The bushes are really, really high, and I've seen couple of cars which were ahead of me. They almost like had an accident. So is that something city takes care of, or is it the school's responsibility to take the bushes down so the incoming traffic can be seen? Over.
Is it on the Mustang?
It's when you get out of the school, take a right on the Mustang,
Mm-hmm.
right before the central, the Central Parkway. And take a right towards Hanson and Bethany, between those two areas.
Okay, so I'll send an email to our works department tomorrow and have them taken care.
Is that something, I mean, do they have
Sit-
to like cut
yeah.
the bushes down, or they can just kind of completely remove, those kind of bushes, from that area? Because that is a big hazard.
So staff will look into that. If they need to be trimmed, they will be trimmed, or if they need to be removed, it will be removed. So let's first of all look at that. So the staff will look into those things.
Okay, thank you.
Harry, staff could look into that for you. Roger and I could talk to Public Works about, what we can do to force them to to improve that visibility. And we could report back to you.
Yes, I'll have to look at the master restriction and our ordinances. Usually something like that, if it's on private property, like a commercial area or a zone deemed other than residential, it may fall under zoning. A lot of the zoning ordinances cover that. And since we do not have any, because we're not incorporated yet, I would imagine it would fall under the master restriction. So I'll have to look into that.
Okay, number 13 is staff comments. Roger, Chris, Sarah?
Nothing for the president, or nothing for any director, Dylan.
Thank you.
I've already talked too much already, so I'm good.
Love to hear you though.
Yeah. So we are right on time, and the time is about like 7:58 PM. And hereby I adjourn this Mountain House Public Safety Committee meeting, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Night, Harry. Night, everybody.
Good night.
Good
Have a
night.
good evening.
Good night.